So I've previously talked about how the Marvel Cinematic Universe could be saved, assuming there was still significant enough interest for some kind of rescue plan to be put in place to right the ship, so to speak, and turn things around creatively and critically. And like many of you, I'm not convinced there's enough real interest there among audiences at this point. It's not just that the franchise has become compromised by identity politics and the message. It's not just that the writing quality has declined in recent films and TV shows, but the superhero genre has been seriously overdone at this point. The Marvels will be the 33rd MCU film, and then when you add in the rival DCEU films being made in parallel, that's a lot of superhero movies over the past couple of decades. My idea was to try to give the MCU a dignified conclusion by bringing back the core 6 Avengers for one final film, using various creative sci-fi solutions to do so, and then retire the franchise entirely, following one last Iron Man film featuring Tony Stark. Well, if rumours are to be believed, that idea may not sound quite so crazy. This article is from Screen Rant. Avengers 6 will soft reboot the MCU and bring back retired characters. Kevin Feige, quote, backs rumours. A major new bombshell suggests that Marvel plans to soft reboot the MCU in 2027 with the 6th Avengers movie and teasing the return of lost heroes. And there's been quite a few of the originals who've dropped out. Obviously Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and Natasha Romanoff being the 3 biggest characters, and between resurrections and multiverse hijinks, there's any number of ways to bring them back, if needed. Taking a leaf out of the what-if playbook, I suppose. Now, as I mentioned before, the only way to really bring back some lost credibility to the MCU after Disney decided to keep the franchise going after Endgame, which was a mistake in my view, is to bring the franchise back to its roots and back to what made this series work in the first place. Now, the article says the MCU could reboot after Avengers Secret Wars in just 4 years, according to a new quote from Marvel Supremo Kevin Feige. The upcoming Avengers 6 will close out the currently announced slate of upcoming Marvel movies on May 7th, 2027, but Feige has also said in a recent interview with Variety that the MCU has barely scratched the surface of the story potential for Marvel Comics, but the potential may come with a soft reboot in the very near future to consolidate the timeline, trimming the fat, and most excitingly, bringing back characters who have dropped out of the franchise. Speaking on the Watch podcast, author of the new Marvel book MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, Joanna Robinson dropped a bombshell that could change the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline massively. We have a quote from Kevin Feige sort of implying that, like Secret Wars, will serve as a soft reboot in which they can prune everything. That's not to use a Lokiism. They'll prune everything that's not working and just keep what is working, or bring back people you thought were gone forever. Now, the question really is, how much interest is going to be left in the Marvel Cinematic Universe by the time 2027 rolls around, even if the Fantastic Four and the X-Men are added into the franchise? As I mentioned previously, in addition to good writing and strong characters, the MCU's first 3 phases worked well because they were all built around a primary overriding story arc of the Infinity Saga. So much so that it was hard to separate the universe itself from the story arc. But with the big bad of Thanos finally defeated in Endgame, for many fans, the franchise just felt like it no longer had a reason to continue. And yet, because it's a major multi-billion-dollar cash cow, it has continued. It's limped along for an additional 2 underwhelming phases, which lack all of the cohesion and excitement of the first 3 phases, and are made all the worse because they're basically woke. Now, the franchise seems to be producing consistent box office failures, with another one likely on the way next month in the form of The Marvels, and the TV series are also failing to retain viewership. The only way for the MCU to regain its lost credibility is to return to the formula that worked originally. The problem is, even if the quality could be restored, even briefly, I doubt the powers that be will want to stop there. It's more likely the franchise will be milked till there's nothing left, as is the custom in Hollywood. They can never let a good thing end when it's on a high note. the dead horse will continuously be flogged. But regardless, I had a suspicion that there was going to be some reboot and return of older characters. So yeah, I kind of called this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.